I freeze at the doorway, breath caught somewhere between shock and disbelief. Mai stands before the vanity, her curls shining beneath the window light. Mother adjusts a pearl-studded wedding cap, her fingers trembling with delight. "That looks perfect on you," she whispers, as if blessing her favorite child. The pearls catch the sunlight, scattering reflections across the mirror. My stomach twists, a quiet ache spreading through my chest. That cap is my grandmother, the same one she promised me when I was 10 years old. I remember the attic scent of cedar and dust that day. Grandmother's gentle hands lifting the box wrapped in yellowed tissue. "This is the Juliet cap I wore when I married your grandfather," she said. Her voice carried reverence, warmth, and something sacred. She placed it on my head, smiling through tears. "One day, my darling, you'll wear it too." I believed her, completely and forever. After she passed, Mother sealed the cap in tissue and stored it away. I thought she was protecting it for me. Now I see she was saving it for Mai. Mother notices me reflected in the mirror and startles slightly. "Oh, and we were just trying it on," she says too cheerfully. Mai laughs, her tone light, confident, dismissive. "You never said you wanted it," she teases, touching one pearl gently. My voice shakes, small and uncertain. "I didn't think I had to." Mother's reflection hardens before smoothing again. "This cap goes to the daughter who truly appreciates its history." The familiar phrase stings like salt on an old wound. I've heard it before, every time something special was given to Mai. The cameo brooch at Christmas. The gold locket on her graduation. Always followed by the same excuse. She understands the family better. Father appears in the doorway, newspaper still under his arm. "What's all this?" he asks, half smiling. "And just wants to wear grandmother's cap for her wedding," Mother explains. Father's smile turns soft but distant. "You know traditions, sweetheart. Some things make sense a certain way." That sentence hits harder than any insult. I realize there was never a real tradition. Only a pattern built to keep me outside the circle. I stand silently as Mai removes the cap, placing it back on the velvet cushion. "It suits me better anyway," she says, not cruelly, just certain. The light catches her face, perfect, composed, everything Mother admires. Inside me, something small cracks, almost inaudible. For years, I believed love could be earned through patience, through obedience, through silence. But standing there, watching them guard a lie as if it were holy, I understand. It was never about the cap. It was about who deserved to be seen. The laughter returns, soft and careless, filling the air between us. I step back into the hallway, the floorboards sighing under my feet. Downstairs, the clock chimes 6 times, marking another Sunday evening. Same table, same meal, same pattern, only I am no longer the same. The next morning, the house feels colder than usual. Mother hums in the kitchen, pretending nothing happened. Mai scrolls through her phone, pearls glinting on her wrist. I sip coffee that tastes like metal and regret. The silence between us hums louder than words. After breakfast, I drive across town to Aunt Lan's farmhouse. The porch swing creaks as I sit down beside her. She watches me for a long time before speaking. "You look just like your grandmother when something breaks inside you." Her words open a wound I didn't know still bled. "I need to know the truth," I whisper. Aunt Lan rises slowly and disappears into the hallway. When she returns, she carries a small wooden box. Inside are yellowed envelopes tied with fatting blue ribbon. "Your grandmother wrote these before she passed," she says softly. I untie the ribbon, hands trembling. The scent of old paper and lavender drifts upward. My eyes catch the first line, written in elegant looping script. "The Juliet cap should belong to my first granddaughter, N." The world seems to tilt. Each letter repeats the same message, gentle but firm. She loves its story. Promise her it will be hers one day. Tears blur the ink until it becomes a river of proof. Aunt Lan touches my arm, her voice steady. Your mother knew. She just chose to forget. I close the box carefully, afraid to breathe. When I return home that evening, the lights blaze in every room. Mother is arranging flowers, humming again. Can we talk? I ask, holding the letters out. Her eyes flicker to the handwriting, then away. That's not what she meant, she says too quickly. She wanted it for whoever appreciates tradition. She wrote my name, I answer, voice shaking. Father looks up from his newspaper, confused but calm. Can't you just buy another one? They make lovely replicas now. His words hit harder than anger ever could. It's not about the object. It's about being seen as worthy of love. Mai appears at the doorway, her tone rehearsed. You're trying to make this dramatic, and it's just a cap. I laugh quietly, the sound dry and broken. For her, it's decoration. For me, it's history. For Mother, it's control. She gathers the letters neatly, stacking them like discarded bills. I'm sorry you feel hurt, she says, not meeting my eyes. But my decision stands. I take the letters back and leave without another word. Outside, the air is sharp and clean. I drive aimlessly until the sun sinks behind the hills. In the reflection of my windshield, I see my grandmother's face. Not the bride in her wedding portrait, but the woman who taught me truth. Hold your head high, my love, she once said. Family will test you, but your worth isn't theirs to decide. I whisper those words now, like a prayer. By the time I reach my apartment, my tears have dried. The letters rest on the passenger seat beside me, proof and promise. The cap may be lost, but something else has begun to return. A quiet, steady sense of myself, unbroken, waiting to rise again. Days pass in a blur of silence and unfinished thoughts. I keep the letters in my drawer, reading them each night. Every line feels like a heartbeat from someone who still believes in me. But belief alone doesn't erase the emptiness left behind. Daniel notices the change before I say a word. He holds my hand across the kitchen table, eyes steady. They can't take what she gave you, he says quietly. I want to believe him, but pain lingers like smoke. Leanne visits the next day with coffee and fierce energy. Then make something new, she says, something they can't define. The idea roots itself before I can doubt it. That afternoon, I walk into the antique shop at the corner of Main Street. The bell jingles as Mrs. Fuang, the elderly owner, looks up. Back again, dear. She smiles, recognizing my restless eyes. I tell her about the cap, about the promise, about the betrayal. She listens without interruption, only nodding slowly. When I finish, she disappears into the back room. Moments later, she returns with a small basket of dried flowers. Baby's breath, she says, placing it in my hands. Simple, honest, it lasts even when time tries to fade it. The petals are fragile, but refuse to crumble. I wore wildflowers in my hair at my wedding, she continues softly. My mother wanted me to wear the family tiara. I chose myself instead. Her smile is lined with memory, not regret. Did she forgive you? I ask, voice barely above a whisper. She never said it, Mrs. Fuang answers, but she came to my garden every spring. I walk home holding the basket, as though it carries something sacred. That night, I sit on the floor with the stems spread around me. Their scent is faint, like rain that once fell. I weave them carefully, twisting one branch after another. The pattern takes shape beneath my fingers, imperfect human mine. When I lift the finished crown, light slips through the window. It glows like a constellation of tiny stars. Daniel walks in and stops, his expression softening. That's beautiful, he says. It looks like you. His words settle somewhere deep, where self-doubt used to live. For the first time, I feel the edges of peace. Not the kind granted by approval, but the kind built by choice. The next morning, I visit Leanne and show her the crown. She studies it for a long time before smiling. This isn't just decoration, she says. It's a declaration. I laugh, surprised at how true it sounds. Each petal feels like defiance, wrapped in grace. When I place the crown on my head, the mirror doesn't lie. It's not my mother's reflection staring back anymore. It's mine. And beneath the quiet hum of morning light, I whisper a vow. I'll carry her love, not her rules. Outside, the wind rises softly through the trees, as if in agreement. For the first time since childhood, I breathe without permission. The air tastes like freedom, and I let it fill me completely. Mother calls 3 days later, her tone brisk, her control intact. I've spoken to a designer about your wedding dress, she announces. I stare at the phone, counting to 5 before answering. I already have one, I say, voice calm but final. She pauses, as if recalculating her authority. Well, at least let me handle the photographer, she insists. I breathe slowly, steadying the quiet fire in my chest. We've chosen someone else, I reply. It's already settled. The silence stretches like a wire about to snap. You're being ungrateful, and family traditions matter, she says sharply. Traditions, that word again, sharp, heavy, suffocating. After we hang up, I sit in the stillness of my apartment. The baby's breath crown rests on the table, light as courage. Daniel joins me, his presence grounding. You don't owe them obedience, he says softly. His voice feels like shelter after a storm. That evening, a letter arrives in Father's handwriting. Inside, a check and a note. For a proper wedding, love, Dad. I fold the paper neatly and return it to the envelope. My reply is short. Thank you, but we have everything we need. For once, no anger, no apology, just boundaries. Leanne cheers when she hears what I did. It's about time you stopped buying peace with silence, she says. Her words sting because they're true. I've spent my life trading parts of myself for harmony. No more. The following week, I change all my wedding plans' passwords. Mother won't be able to access or alter a thing. Daniel laughs when I tell him the new one. And in Daniel only 2025, I say proudly. That's perfect, he smiles. The rebellion is quiet, but it feels monumental. Emails start coming from relatives, small messages of support. Cousin Vi writes, "Can you seat me away from Aunt Trin? I need space too." I realize I'm not the only one suffocating under expectations. Maybe I was just the first to stop pretending. The next time Mother visits, she's holding a purse of polished cream leather. I've canceled that artsy photographer, she announces firmly. I look up startled. You what? He's too inexperienced. I booked James Preston instead, she continues. Something inside me finally breaks, but not in weakness. Leave, I say quietly. She blinks, uncomprehending. I said leave. The authority in my voice startles even me. Mother hesitates, then gathers her purse and walks out. When the door closes, I collapse against the counter, trembling. Daniel finds me minutes later, silent but strong. You did it, he whispers. You finally drew the line. Outside, the city hums on, unaware of the tiny revolution inside this room. For the first time, I feel the shape of freedom beneath my ribs. Not loud, not dramatic, just mine. Later that night, I take out the baby's breath crown again. I run my fingers along the fragile stems, remembering their strength. They bend, but they never break. And neither will I. The morning of the wedding arrives quiet and bright. Sunlight filters through the trees, soft as forgiveness. The garden glows with wildflowers, nothing rehearsed, nothing forced. I can hear Leanne's laughter mixing with the hum of bees. There are no chandeliers, no crystal vases, no heavy perfume. Only air, light, and the scent of something real. Daniel waits beneath an arch covered in ivy and ribbons. He turns when he sees me, and his smile breaks the world open. I walk slowly, my heart steady, my breath calm. Father stands beside me, adjusting his tie nervously. You look like your grandmother, he murmurs, voice rough. Not because of the cap, because of your grace. For a moment, I see the man he could have been all along. The music begins, simple piano notes drifting like wind. Each step feels like shedding another layer of expectation. When I reach Daniel, his hands close around mine. We stand facing each other, no veil between us. Our vows are not memorized, not polished, just honest. I promise partnership, not perfection, he says softly. I promise truth, even when it's hard, I answer. The words hang between us, fragile yet unbreakable. The applause that follows feels like sunlight breaking through clouds. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Mother watching. Her expression is unreadable, somewhere between confusion and pride. For once, she says nothing. Mai approaches after the ceremony, clutching a small velvet box. Her eyes shimmer with tears she tries to hide. You don't need it, she says quietly. The cap, you never did. I wait, sensing something deeper behind her words. I was jealous, she continues, voice cracking. Not of the cap, but of how sure you've always been of yourself. She holds the box out to me. Grandmother would want you to have it. The velvet feels familiar under my fingertips, warm with memory. I smile, shaking my head gently. Keep it, Mai. I've found my own way. Her eyes widen, then soften with understanding. We stand there, two sisters, no longer rivals. Around us, the laughter of guests rises like birds. Children chase petals across the lawn. The photographer captures Daniel spinning me under the apple tree. Nothing staged, nothing perfect, only joy. Mother joins Father near the edge of the crowd, quiet, thoughtful. When she looks at me, I see something shifting behind her eyes. Maybe acceptance, maybe the beginning of it. As evening falls, the garden fills with golden light. The crown of baby's breath rests lightly on my hair. Each bloom whispers of resilience, of softness that endures. Daniel leans close, his voice low against my ear. This feels like us, he says, not anyone else. I smile, the truth of it anchoring me completely. The music swells, slow and tender. We dance barefoot beneath the trees, surrounded by people who finally see us. And in that moment, I know, this is the life I chose. Not inherited, not borrowed. Mine. 6 months later, winter softens into quiet light. Our apartment smells of pine and cinnamon, our first Christmas together. The tree stands by the window, decorated with memories instead of ornaments. Tiny photos from the wedding hang between strings of warm white lights. In each one, the crown of baby's breath gleams like frost. Daniel hums while arranging gifts beneath the branches. Most are not things but moments, concert tickets, cooking lessons, short trips. No china sets, no engraved silver, no heirlooms to impress anyone. He turns and smiles. First Christmas as the Thompsons. I nod, letting the words settle into the room like snow. The quiet feels sacred, like something we built with our own hands. When the doorbell rings, I open it without hesitation. Father stands there with a bottle of wine and an uncertain grin. Mother follows, holding a small paper bag of cookies. They look smaller somehow, as if time trimmed their authority. Dinner is easy this time. No one comments on my tablecloth or my mismatched plates. We talk about travel, about weather, about simple things that don't hurt. For the first time, I feel like we are just people, not a performance. When they leave, Mother lingers by the door. She clears her throat, her voice softer than I remember. Would you show me how to make that flower crown sometime? The question catches me off guard, gentle as spring rain. Of course, I say and mean it. A few days later, I visit Aunt Lan to deliver thank you cookies. She hugs me tight, whispering, "Your grandmother would be proud." The words still make my chest ache in the best way. In the following months, Mai comes over often. She wears jeans instead of dresses now, her laugh less careful. I think I want to elope, she says one afternoon, half teasing. I grin. Do it your way, that's the whole point. We both laugh, until tears gather at the corners of our eyes. By spring, the garden behind our old family house blooms again. Daniel and I walk there on our anniversary, hand in hand. The air smells of earth and beginnings. Under the same oak tree where we said our vows, he hands me a package. Inside is a framed photograph of my grandmother in her garden. Her hands are muddy, her smile radiant, no pearls in sight. On the back, in familiar handwriting, to one who sees beauty in simplicity. The note blurs as tears fill my eyes. I understand then, the real heirloom was never the cap. It was her spirit, her quiet defiance, her love of authenticity. That night, I placed the photo beside my preserved flower crown. The two reflections glow side by side in the mirror. For the first time, I recognize the same light in both faces. When the phone rings again, I answer without fear. Mother's voice wavers. "We're proud of you, N." I smile, calm and certain. Heirlooms aren't always objects. Sometimes they're choices, small, brave, and ours to keep forever. Evening settles over the city, soft and golden. The apartment glows with the warmth of quiet laughter. Daniel reads by the window, his hand resting on my knee. The framed photograph of grandmother catches the last ray of light. Beside it, my flower crown rests behind glass, delicate but enduring. I trace the reflection of both, feeling their stories intertwine. The air smells faintly of lavender and something new. Mother's voice still echoes in my memory, but without pain now. Her question about the flower crown was a beginning, not an apology. My sends photos from her road trip, smiling without pretense. We are all changing, learning, breathing differently. The silence that once felt heavy now feels whole. I open my journal and write the final line of this chapter. Tradition isn't chains. It's a thread, and I can weave my own. Outside, the first stars appear, small and certain. Their light reminds me of the pearls I once longed for. Only now I know I never needed them to shine. The past no longer holds me, it guides me. And I finally belong to the life I chose, not the one expected of me.